Welcome to another edition of Regan's Corner. A while with cousin Rylee, but cuz, what is good? What is good in Cali?
Oh, it's good here in California. A little chilly. We're down to like 60, low 60s, 50 degrees, which is California cold. I mean, we saw the Super Bowl where it was like 80 degrees, so you know, California.
Mhm.
Sure, much warmer than
For
where you
sure.
were at.
Indiana can go up and down, uh, 30 degrees so far, but without the wind, it feels a lot better. But yeah, let's get into the news cycle for today. Mr. Wilson goes to Denver. Did you see Russell Wilson going to the Mountain High City?
I mean, I don't think I really had much off the table for him because it became very apparent that he was going to be traded. Um, and I mean, we know the Broncos like big deals. Hate to bring it up to you, obviously, because Peyton Manning. But I mean,
Yeah,
best of luck to him. It's more like I'm kind of feeling bad for the Seahawks right now for the talent on their team, for Tyler Lockett, for DK Metcalf, Chris Carson. Like, I think they thought they were getting more time with Wilson. So, I mean, it'll be this year already wasn't the best for them, even with Russell Wilson. But then again, he was like kind of on and off with injuries. So I don't know. I think it's going to be tough down or up in Seattle, seeing what they do about this situation because they got Drew Lock in the
yeah.
deal, and just I
I
don't
just
know.
don't, I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do here, Riley. Do you stick with Lock here, or do you try getting that guy from Houston that you don't like, and then you have Luck as a journeyman kind of quarterback, kind of the bridge to Watson whenever he comes back from the allegations. So, yeah, do you get Deshaun Watson up into Seattle? That's the kind of thing that you're looking through right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say what they'll do. I don't think any of the options for them are going to be particularly good. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out with them. I think it's going to be a tough
Mhm.
season. Even if you get Deshaun
Oh,
Watson, like he hasn't played in a couple of years now, uh, that's already a risk. Plus, kind of, I mean, taints your reputation a little bit because people would not be happy to see him. I think on any team. I know personally, I don't care to see him play after everything, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
yes, absolutely happens. But what does Denver now get in Wilson since last year? He was kind of off and on with the injuries and stuff like that. Do they win a championship and then develop into this mega star, or do they get the Wilson of last year, who was injury prone and that finger? He didn't throw as many tight spirals. He wasn't running as much. So, which Watson do they get in Denver? And plus, they got other options in Denver on the defensive side with the draft since they were so low that it could be a nice little mix for the Broncos and put them back into the Super Bowl contending kind of teams with this trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, I think the Broncos are expecting to get Russell Wilson that's going to come and going to perform.
Right.
I know that they're saying they were looking into the getting Aaron Rodgers from the Packers, and that fell through. After that fell through, they went on to Russell Wilson. So it's like they are obviously trying to get a big name quarterback that they think will come in and be the next star, the next franchise quarterback for them. So I don't know. I think it is a little risky just because, like you were saying, the injuries to Russell Wilson last season and the inconsistency of his playing. But, I mean, you get access to all the medical records and everything when you do the trade, before the trade. So I'm sure that there probably wasn't any worries when it comes to his health. And I'm sure they're just expecting him to kind of pick up with their players and go out there and better the team. I think they're looking to win.
Yes, absolutely. I think they're all in. And you can also hear that Von Miller is looking to get back into Denver. Okay. So you have Chubb, and they could possibly draft a guy from Oregon. You're talking about a mega defensive line if that's the case. Plus, you have Russell Wilson on the other side going against teams like Kansas City and LA, and you have all that stuff, and it's just all together. So,
Yeah.
but let's get into a little bit more baseball related stuff. We're gonna come back around with at the end of ball, but let's get into baseball negotiations. So, Rylee, I think I ask you this every time. Do you think there's going to be a season?
Oh man. Honestly, I think this is the most I guess defeated I have felt during these negotiations, and really just like I don't know. I don't know if I'd be surprised if there wasn't at this point. Um in my opinion, the lockout shouldn't have started anyway. They should have figured it out before December 2nd when they started the lockout. And then obviously to those following, there was the big delay in even the negotiations between MLB and the Players Association. Something like 40 days or something like that, where they didn't talk. And then just in this, I want to say like the last month, they had, it was like spring trainings coming up. Now that's on the line. So then it became, okay, we got to meet every day this week. So they did that. One of the days they literally met for 15 minutes. So I was like, this is not promising at all. And then there was the deadline, which was for last week, for February 28th, for that Monday night. And, they stayed, I think it was like 15 hours that they sat in the room negotiating. And everyone following along knows that it was looking pretty good, according to reporters. There were lots of talks of like, they're not leaving until they reach a deal. Well, then the next day comes and it's completely flipped. It's now basically they're saying, nope, they can't agree on this. The union's expected to decline the offer. And then that's what happened. So then MLB canceled the first two series. Then they had, I think, another brief meeting that Thursday. And that takes us to this week, where the last couple days, it was basically the same thing. It was Monday, and MLB said, if we get a deal done today, we won't cancel. We'll have a 162 game season, which is normal length. They were going to make up those games. And they met for 16 hours, something crazy like that. And again, looking very promising. Oh, a deal is going to get done. And then come yesterday afternoon, they're like, oh, they're very divided on the international draft, which wasn't, it didn't seem like a big part of it before, but now they're bringing it up as a big thing that they disagree on. So that got brought into it. And what happened was MLB gave like 3 different options to the union and said, pick one of these 3 and like we'll get a deal. We'll work on it. And like some of the options, like one of the options was like to figure out that international draft by November 15th. So give a little more time on that specifically, which was where they were disagreeing. All their other numbers seem to be pretty close for the most part. But the union declined again. And so as soon as they declined, MLB puts out a statement. Now no opening day until at least April 14th. So I don't know. And then what happened was the union.
I don't know.
Yeah, the union gave another like proposal, but it was after their deadline, so MLB like hadn't looked over it yet or something like that. Of like they hadn't talked it through entirely, and the games were already canceled. And that new proposal from the union was something that Manfred had apparently suggested before. So I guess there is some hope, but yesterday when they were saying like you have to pick one of these 3 or else like nothing, it really made it seem like once they picked nothing, there's a good chance there's no season. And in my opinion, a couple of those options could have worked pretty fairly for the players union. And I think they should do it because, I mean, the players union, I support them in fighting for the younger players and stuff. That's fantastic. But at this point, it's frustrating as fans because, you know, we're the ones missing out on baseball. And then you think about everybody else that's affected by this. It's not just the players and the owners. You know, there's the stadium workers who are now not making money by losing those games. There's the people that work at the spring training facilities that are losing money, not to mention the towns that host spring training. You know, they make a lot of money off people coming to spring training. So, and the younger players that are on the 40-man roster, they don't get to play. So they're losing money too. So it just seems like there's a lot that needs to get figured out because a lot is being impacted now.
There's so much being impacted that it's just ridiculous to think about. Okay. And it just mind-boggling that a major association like that can't get on the same page. It's almost as bad as Washington, where it seems like there's so much disconnect. Nobody can talk in the room anymore or anything like that. It's just here, boom. We just don't want to give this up. We don't want to give that up. It's just giving up the power. Us fans, we want to watch baseball, okay? And we don't want to watch. We want to watch major baseball happening this year. And I wanted to complain about the Cubs being on a marquee network, but there's I don't know if we're gonna have it. I don't know, because you could build an with the free agents that are currently on the market speak right now. That's kind of sad, but eventually I think they'll get something done. But I think it'll be 62 games again this year because they can't. I don't know, double headers. Seeing any double headers won't be that bad, but I don't know. I mean, to me, playing baseball, it's not like doing football or basketball where your body, okay, the stop and goes, the outfielders, okay, I get that. But at the same time, if you do the things in the offseason to get your body right, other than pitchers because they can throw their arms out, but besides them, the precision players and stuff like that, you get your body right, you get prepared, you have a good mentality for the season, then you should be okay with double headers, okay? But I just don't think the normal athlete is there. We're going to go and switch it back to the NFL side of things. The Colts get rid of Carson Wentz 1 year. The Washington Commanders now is his home. So, Rylee, we've been a little bit off since the Super Bowl here, off air. So, now the Washington Commanders, okay, after the new name, have a new
Yeah.
quarterback. Do you think Carson gets back to his ways, MVP ways in Washington?
I don't know about that. I don't see that happening, unfortunately for him. I think it's a good option for Washington. Taylor Heineke, good, not great. So I think it's a step up. Is it going to solve all their problems? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Carson Wentz just seems to be kind of like hit or miss. So I don't know. I mean, step up, but how big of a step? That's what we'll see.
Speak right for sure. And speaking of Carson Wentz, where he left off, okay, where who does straight quarterbacks in the last 5 years? Who can Indianapolis target either in the draft or the current roster or free agents to keep that what was a great quarterback tradition and then have stability so they don't lose people like Leonard off the defensive side and become the South Chicago, as we will.
Well, now they need a quarterback. So, I mean, a big option that I've read their name tied to is Jimmy G, which I think would be great for you guys. And I mean, obviously, like there's been a lot of trade talks about Jimmy G already. A bunch of different possibilities. Is he going to the Bucks? Washington was another one, Pittsburgh. And so now he's being tied to the Colts name. So maybe you get him, and I think that could be a big step up for you. I think that's definitely a better option than Carson Wentz. And the Colts, like they have the tools that they need, in my opinion. Like they should, I think, be a better performing team than they were last season. You know, I mean, they have a pretty solid offense. Jonathan Taylor, like, is pretty unstoppable, and Michael Pittman, like, there are options. Now you need a quarterback to suit that, and I think Jimmy G could do that. But we'll see. I mean, anything could happen.
Sure. I like the Jimmy G stuff too. If they don't get Jimmy G, I also like Gardner Minshew. Just the way the kid works and his work ethic. I think that would be a nice little thing. Sam Ellinger, if you develop him right, he could be a nice lasting quarterback in the league. But I think Jimmy G probably is the best answer for Indy at the moment. But don't be surprised if they just said, we're going to stick with Ellen because cheaper option, already with the club, already knows playbook. I also like Gardner Minshew in that sense too. You could also even look at okay, in both in Buffalo. He got the raw end of the stick in Chicago. He didn't have bad numbers. Um, it's just when you get drafted with Mahomes and Watson, uh, and you're the first one to be picked out of the three, your career is already kind of made for it, unless you're Tom Brady esque player. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Jimmy G. I want Jimmy G. To be honest with you, because
Yeah. I
Jonathan
think that would be
Taylor's a beast at the running back position.
yeah.
For
And
sure.
that's the thing is I think it would be unfortunate if they didn't get a contending quarterback because Jonathan Taylor, like, he deserves a well-performing team. He deserves, like, to be in the postseason. So, I mean, I hope it goes well for you. If you get Jimmy G, good for you.
For sure. Always cuz stay froggy, my friend. And yeah, hope you have a better week ahead. And then we'll see you again next Thursday. So, yes. And stay froggy, my friend.